I'm calling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, look, I'd ask the members that this debate it's quite intense. There are some frictions on either side, and we understand that. But I ask that each member respect the rights of other people to have their say and to respect that. David Bennett.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a trade agreement, and today we are hearing a number of excuses from the left around why they will not support this bill through the House. We have heard from the Labor Party that they do not believe that they will support this agreement because they want a ban on the ability of other people to buy foreign buyers of land and property in New Zealand. The Labor Party never went into the negotiations with this agreement when it talked to the government and the minister seeking a ban. All they wanted was a restriction on the ability, and that's what the agreement provides. The Labor Party has conveniently come to this stage of the House and asked for a different requirement now to satisfy their ability not to support this bill through the House. And that is pure politics being played by the Labor Party. They have changed the wording to enable them to have the ability to pull out of supporting this agreement. And it goes against the history of this Parliament. It goes against the history of that party.
Order.
That party signed the Chinese Free Trade Agreement. Did they put ban in there? No. And if they're saying that banning was their policy forever and a day, why didn't they put that in agreement? Why didn't they require that in the Korean agreement? No, that is not what the requirement of the Labor Party is. It is a convenient excuse used by the Labor Party to try and weasel its way out of supporting something that it thinks it's against the public opinion to do. And I can tell you why the Labor Party are doing that, because they are captured by the union movement. They always have been, always will be, and they are representing the far left of their party. And it is a shame that the members of that party that have got an interest in trade, the members of that party like Phil Goff, like David Shearer, Stuart Nash that's here today, why weren't they having speaking rights in this debate on this bill when they sat through hours of submissions on this bill? The reason is the Labor Party have told David Shearer and Phil Goff not to come into the House today. They have been told not to be here, and they have been told not to speak on this bill.
Point of order. I'm going to hear from Dennis O'Rourke.
The current Speaker is reflecting upon the absence from the House of various Labor members and should not be doing so.
Sure, that's a very good point, and I'll ask the member to confine his comments to the first reading speech. You cannot refer to members who are not present in the House. David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we look at the New Zealand First Party, well, we know the New Zealand First Party is just against trade. They're just against any links with the real world. The New Zealand First Party wants to take us back to the 1950s. They are the Don Trump party of New Zealand politics. They do not believe in having any connection with the world, and especially the Asia-Pacific region which we live in. That is totally against the New Zealand First Party, and that is why they are against this bill. They know it's good for trade, but they are against it. And I bet you during the next election campaign, the New Zealand First Party will roll through every region in New Zealand saying, we are there to support farmers. We are there to support farmers. Well, every farmer that's listening to this over the next year, remember who voted against giving you farmers access in trade. The New Zealand First Party voted against New Zealand farmers having access to trade. Then we have the Green Party. Now, the Green Party are actually a principled party when it comes to trade. They just don't believe in it. That is fine. That is what the Green Party has always stood by. That is okay. They will never vote for a trade agreement like this. That is fine, and their arguments are those that the Green Party members always support. But the Labor Party has no excuse apart from playing politics today, and the New Zealand First Party, it will be very rich of you to go out into the public and try and explain the requirement to do that.
Point of order. A point of order.
The member referred to the Speaker just then in a most disparaging way.
Look, I'm the judge of relevancy and the reflection on the Speaker. David Bennett.
It's a common practice for opposition members to try and do points of order.
The member, there is no comment on a ruling that I've made, and we shall continue on a first reading speech. David Bennett.
Okay, if we look at trade, and the argument basically the opposition is putting out there is that trade doesn't work. that New Zealanders will not benefit from trade. Well, let's have a look at some of the benefits New Zealanders have got from previous trade agreements. Australia, 735% absolute export growth since the trade agreement. China, 341% export growth since the agreement. That is what trade does for New Zealanders. It is what it has done for all New Zealanders over time, and it's what it does for other countries. How does it compare with America? Well, you've got open access to a lot of American markets. And if we look at it, okay, kiwi fruit, open access for kiwi fruit. Look at other products, they've got open access, and Sumaroni should be supporting the Waikato producers that will actually benefit from this agreement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'm going to call the order.